Picking up a power drill for the very first time can feel, well, a little intimidating. It's got all these buttons and numbers, weird symbols, but I promise you, it is the one tool that opens the door to so many amazing DIY projects. So in the next few minutes, we are going to completely demystify this thing, so you can go from feeling hesitant to totally confident.
Okay, so let's just jump right in and tackle the biggest question you are going to face when you're standing in that tool aisle. You see them sold together all the time, right? But what in the world is the difference between a regular drill and its super noisy cousin, the impact driver? And do you really need both? Yeah, we are going to get to the bottom of that. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with how to pick the right drill for you, then we'll take a quick tour of all its key parts. After that, we'll get into its three main jobs, see how it stacks up against an impact driver, and then we'll finish with the absolute golden rules of safety. Nice and simple. First things first, before you can even think about using a drill, you gotta choose one. And it really just boils down to two big decisions: where you get your power from and how much power you actually need. Let's break down what that means. The classic debate: should you go cordless or corded? Look, cordless drills are just incredibly convenient. You can take them anywhere, you're not searching for an outlet, and you're not gonna trip over a cord. But that freedom has a price. The batteries make the drill heavier, they can be pretty expensive, and of course, they need to be charged. On the other hand, a corded drill is usually cheaper, it's lighter with that big battery on the end, and the power is just consistent. It never runs out. The obvious catch? You are literally tethered to a wall. So what about power? We measure that in volts. Now 18 volt, which you'll sometimes see marketed as 20 volt max, that's pretty much the industry standard. It's what the pros use, and it'll handle just about anything you throw at it around the house. But don't sleep on the 12 volt models. They are way lighter, they're cheaper, and honestly, they're more than powerful enough for common stuff like putting furniture together or hanging pictures. They're a fantastic choice if a big, heavy tool feels a little daunting. And here is a huge piece of advice. Seriously, before you buy anything, just go to a store, pick up a few different drills, feel how heavy they are. How does the grip feel in your hand? Is it balanced? The best drill in the world is useless if you don't feel comfortable and confident holding it. All right, you've got your drill. Now let's get to know it a little better. Understanding what each part does is really the key to using it like you've been doing it for years. Right up at the front, you've got the keyless chuck. The easiest way to think about it is like the drill's mouth. When you twist the collar, you can see three little jaws on the inside opening and closing. That's what grabs onto your drill bit and holds it tight. And the best part is it's keyless, so you just tighten it by hand. No extra tools needed. Now for your main control center, the trigger. It's not just on or off, it's a variable speed trigger. Think of it like the gas pedal in a car. A gentle squeeze gives you a slow, controlled spin. Pull it all the way back, you get full power. Then right above it, you've got the forward and reverse switch. Push it one way for righty-tighty, the other for lefty-loosey. And here's the critical safety tip. Pop that switch into the middle position and it completely locks the trigger. Always do that when you're changing bits. Look on top of the drill and you'll probably see a little switch with a 1 and a 2 on it. This is your gearbox. It's just like the gears in a car. Gear 1 is your low gear. You get a slower speed but a ton of torque, or turning power. It's your workhorse gear, perfect for driving screws. Then you've got Gear 2. That's your high-speed gear. Less torque, but much faster, which is what you want for drilling clean, precise holes. And finally, we get to the numbered ring right behind the chuck. This is technically called the torque adjustment collar, but everyone just calls it the clutch. And let me tell you, this is the single most important and most misunderstood part of the drill for any beginner. This is the secret weapon for not ruining your projects. Okay, we know the parts, we know what they do, now let's put it all together. We're moving from theory into practice. Let's see how to actually use these settings to get stuff done. First up, let's load a bit into the drill. Step 1, safety first. Pop that forward/reverse switch into the middle so the trigger is locked. Now hold the drill and twist the chuck counterclockwise. That'll open up the jaws. Slide the smooth shank end of your bit inside. Then firmly twist the chuck clockwise to tighten it down. Keep going until you feel it get tight and then give it one last twist until you hear a nice loud click. That's how you know it's locked in. Okay, so why did I say that clutch was so important? Because it prevents this absolute nightmare scenario. You're building that beautiful new bookshelf, you drive a screw in just a little too far and crack. You've split the wood, or maybe you just stripped the head of the screw and now it's stuck forever. That is the #1 beginner mistake, and the clutch is designed specifically to stop it from happening. The best advice for this comes from Georgina Bisbee DIY.
And it's so simple. Proceed with caution and start low. When you're driving a screw, don't just crank the clutch up to the highest number. Start at a low setting. You can always go up if you need to. Here's how it works. Say you set the clutch to a low number, like a 4. You start driving the screw. The moment that screw is flush and the drill feels a certain amount of resistance, the clutch kicks in. It makes this loud, angry clicking noise. Click, 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 and the bit stops spinning, even though you're still pulling the trigger. That sound is your best friend. It's the drill telling you, stop, the job is done perfectly. If you set it too high, it'll just keep on driving that screw right through your project. Now, on some drills, you might see one more symbol on that collar, an icon that looks like a little hammer. That is for hammer mode. This is a special function you only use for drilling into really hard stuff like brick, mortar, or concrete. What it does is add a rapid forward punching motion to the spin, literally hammering its way into the material. It's for very specific jobs. So, we've got the standard drill down. Now it's time to meet its powerful and very loud cousin, the impact driver. Once you understand what this tool does, it'll be crystal clear why they're so often sold together as a team. Let's put them head to head. Your drill provides a smooth, steady rotation. That makes it the champion for drilling clean, precise holes. An impact driver, on the other hand, uses what are called rotational impacts. It's an absolute beast for driving really long screws or big fasteners. Their chucks are different too. The drill has that adjustable 3-jaw chuck that can hold lots of bit types. The impact driver has a quick change hex chuck for specific driver bits. And maybe the biggest advantage? Because of how it works, an impact driver has almost zero kickback, so it's much less likely to wrench your wrist. So, what on earth is rotational impact? Okay, imagine you're trying to turn a giant, rusty wheel on an old ship. It's completely stuck. Instead of just trying to push harder and harder, what if you took out a hammer and started smacking the spokes in the direction you want it to turn? Bam, bam, bam. That is exactly what an impact driver does internally. A little hammer and anvil deliver thousands of these tiny, powerful rotational slams every minute, generating an incredible amount of turning force. And the difference in power is just staggering. A really good cordless drill might top out around 530 inch-pounds of torque. A similar impact driver, we're talking 1,500 inch-pounds. That is nearly 3 times the power. That's why for big jobs like building a deck with long screws, the impact driver is the only way to go. We've covered the tools, we've walked through the parts, we've learned the techniques. Now, for the most important part of all, doing it safely so you can start building things with total confidence. These are the non-negotiables. Number 1, always, always wear eye protection. Little bits of wood or metal flying around are no joke. Number 2, secure your work. If you're drilling into a loose piece of wood, clamp it to a table. If you don't, the piece could catch the bit and start spinning wildly. 3, use a firm, two-handed grip when you can. It just gives you better control. And 4, if you're about to drill into a wall, please use a stud finder first to make sure you're not about to hit a water pipe or a live electrical cable. And there you have it. We've taken the mystery out of the power drill. We've decoded all those settings and unlocked its real potential. This isn't just a tool anymore, is it? It's a key that opens up a whole new world of creating, fixing, and building. So there's really only one question left to ask. Now that you have the power, what are you going to build first?